Yes, we are still on relationships. We are focusing on emotional distress and mental health issues stemming from relationship. And now, Mr. BJ, the role of emotional intelligence. What role does emotional intelligence have when it comes to managing conflicts in relationships? Have to play when it comes to managing conflicts in relationship? And in the first place, what is emotional intelligence?
All right, we'll talk about emotional intelligence. It's just your ability to recognize and manage your emotion, as well as being able to manage other people's emotion.
Okay.
Understand? The way you act, the way you behave, the way you do things, right, is different from how another person will do.
That's
You get
true.
it? For instance, somebody might abuse you, you might ignore. But if that happens to another person, the person might want to put a fight.
That's true.
I get it.
Yes.
So if you, as an individual, you are able to recognize your emotion, when those emotions are coming up, you'll be able to know that, all right, I might behave this way because this is how I feel now. So just by recognizing it, you'll be able to manage it. Now, if you have to communicate with your partner, maybe you and your partner are in a conflict, and you actually recognize that if this thing is done to you, you actually feel, or you usually feel angry. But recognizing that, you might easily manage your emotion. Even if that emotion of anger is coming up, you can manage it. And when you want to communicate to your partner, you can know how to pass your message, especially if you know how to communicate effectively. So by understanding your emotion and understanding your partner's emotion, you can actually help to reduce conflicts, thereby reducing emotional distress in your relationship.
Oh, this is beautiful. Understanding yourself, how you manage your emotions, and how you manage another person's emotions is very, very important. And so I would say this is a part in relationships that people lack a lot. So there are some people who don't know how to manage their emotions, and simply because you do not know how to manage your emotions, it becomes very, very difficult for you to manage another person's emotion.
Yeah, let me just tell you something. A lady got to me, that was 2 days ago. Then she was complaining about her guy. Her guys are probably out of the country, so they're actually doing a distance relationship, but they have actually dated before now. So according to her, the guy easily gets angry. The things that she expects the guy should be doing as a man in the relationship. Women actually they easily flare up with emotions or the like. But now the guy is the one doing it. So she is becoming the man in the relationship. The guy is angry. She goes and apologize, trying to make things good. So I told her that the problem is both of you have not actually understood your emotions, your temperaments. He has a different temperament from you. So unless you come to understand his temperament and you understand your temperament, when situations like that come up, you know how to manage it. So there were a lot we talked about. I was trying to diagnose where the problem was coming from. I also realized that the guy might be suffering from emotional, mental health issues, which has not been addressed. So she was like, I'm not continuing with this relationship. I thought that, but there are ways that people can actually work things out. She was like, the guy has been saying that he's going to change. I told her there are change which are actually quick fix, and there are change which are not instantaneous. It takes time. I get it. Yes. So in a situation like that, both of you need to meet a counsel. But the challenge is that you people are not together, so it might be difficult for you to manage it. That's true. So those are some of the situations that people face in their daily lives, and they don't know how to go about it. All of this resulting to emotional distress and later on mental health issues.
Thank you for this life example. And we can see there are so many other examples that we can relate with. You definitely know somebody who is passing through one or two because of relationship. And now that you're hearing this information, please don't be selfish with this information. Share with that person. You might be salvaging somebody's relationship. You might turn to help a friend. help your family, help a colleague, help a brother, help a sister. Just share with them so they can learn just as you are learning. Now, sir, when we look at still on this emotional intelligence, how can you manage this conflict? Is there a particular way you can manage conflict? Is it just enough to know that, okay, I understand my emotions and I understand this other person? Is it enough to say you understand your emotions and another person's emotions? Is that one enough to prevent conflicts from ever happening?
Now, when it comes to conflict resolution, it's a very broad area. Conflict resolution is a very broad area. I think if you want to start talking about conflict resolution here, this podcast will not end. Maybe it will be another session of conflict resolution.
All right.
But one thing I would just like to tell the audience is that know how to handle conflicts in your relationship. And the first step for you to learn how to handle conflict is for you to understand emotional intelligence. These are some of the areas that many people have not actually understood. And emotional intelligence is not just based on relationship. When it comes to leadership, if you are working in an organization, if you are leading an organization, you need to understand emotional intelligence very well, because without that, you don't know how to work with your employees or how to communicate your messages without hurting people's feelings. So emotional intelligence is very important. It's very important. Another thing is trying to understand people's temperament, which is still part of emotional intelligence. Then if there's conflict, I'll just give an example. Your partner might be somebody, if he's angry, he might not want to talk. He might not want to talk because when he talks, he might actually use certain words that would aggravate the situation. For instance, if I am angry to a fault, I don't talk. You bring all the shit to me, I will not talk. Why? One, I'm a stammerer. So when I start stammering, it's obvious that I might behave in a funny way. So to actually help the situation, I will just stay quiet. So if my partner understands that that is who I am, at that state, you just need to let things lie low until when I'm stable, then we can talk about it. Those are some of the ways that you can handle conflicts in the relationship. I think we are going to have another session, probably talk about conflict resolution.
All right. Conflicts cannot be avoided in a relationship, but can they be handled? Yes, they can be handled, they can be managed, and it takes two to make it work. If only one person is interested in solving or managing issues that arise in a relationship where two people are involved, there is a problem. So both parties should actively engage in managing conflicts in their relationship. This will go a long way to help them stay young while growing old, thereby increasing their life expectancy. And not just their life expectancy, but the life expectancy of the people around them. Two happy people will influence a third happy person, which will definitely influence the fourth, and before you know, a whole community of happy people starting from somewhere. So you can be the starting point of happiness in your own community. Now, sir, when we look at how chaotic everything is in today's world, when we look at how relationships are taking a whole toll on people, we look at how people are becoming very, very abusive, and people are no longer, interested in other people. They're no longer interested in, for instance, dating because of certain experiences. Are there certain ways in which people can cope? Are there ways in which people can manage their emotional distress in relationships?
Yeah, there are actually ways people can manage emotional distress, coping with emotional distress in a relationship. I think if I become a president of this country, one thing I would do is that I would definitely open a school that would train therapists.
Oh, okay.
Because I think one of the biggest issues we have in our society is that many people are sick, but they don't know where to be cured. We need therapists. It's so saddening that in Africa, many people don't see therapy as something which is very important. In the Western world, you realize that therapy is one of the most important parts. In every school, you have therapists around who goes around, talk to children, help them to become whole, especially those who are going through depression, emotional distress, and so on and so forth. So for us to actually have healthy relationships nowadays, we need people to actually go or to therapists to undergo therapy. A lot of people are sick. You have people who are sick and they are into relationship. Now, because of their illness, they cannot manage their relationship effectively. But if they are healed, you have a sound mind, sound behavior to manage their relationship. So the first thing I would recommend is therapy. People should learn to go to therapy. If you encounter a heartbreak, please don't jump into another relationship immediately. Those are some of the problems we have in our society nowadays. You see young people who have not healed. I get it. Jump into it, because when you are jumping into the next relationship, it's very obvious that you are going to make mistakes because you have not taken time to heal, to learn from your past mistake. This emotion. You might be very hurt, but in that state of feeling hurt, you still recognize the fact that you have to respect the other person. So when you are coming, for instance, you might not be happy with your partner for not being caring. Instead of saying that you are not caring, it's preferable you say that I feel like I'm left alone. I feel this way because this is how you behave. That is an assertive way of communicating. But if you say you are not caring, human beings naturally have this defensive mechanism. Sometimes even when they know they are wrong, they will still want to defend themselves. That is why learning how to communicate effectively is a big win to your relationship. If you both can learn how to communicate effectively, there are a lot of issues that you are going to circumvent. There are a lot of issues that you are not going to face in that relationship. So healthy communication is very, very important.
So let me cut you. I think that maturity has a lot to do with healthy communication. Because the example you just used now, it takes a matured mind to understand that if I place this thing like this, it might not work. It might not be healthy. It might not help the situation. But if I try to put it this other way and make sure this person understands my point, it will really help. And this is where I really commend maturity. When you see two immature people dating, they are always prone to so many mistakes. But if you see matured people, you will feel like, yes, even the way they communicate their issues, you see somebody will be angry, but the way the person communicates his or her anger to you, you get to feel like, no, I really have to work on myself.
You're perfectly right. That is why we hear words like women nowadays. Like you're a man, you are boys. So communication sometimes goes with maturity. And we might also have mature people who don't know how to communicate effectively. But communication is a skill. That's why you often hear people say, learn how to communicate. Communication is a skill. In your workplace, right? In your office, you work with people, you must learn to communicate. Like people that if they talk to you, you might easily get angry at your workplace. But if they communicate the right way, you can easily cajole people around you and make them to work effectively and efficiently. So communication is a skill that we must learn. But maturity also has a very big role to play when it comes to communication. And there is this misconception that many people have, thinking that if somebody is of age 28, 30, the person is mature. No, please. I've seen people at 20 who are more mature than people at 30. I've seen people at 20 who are also very immature. So what is very important is you getting to know the person, communicate the person, then get to measure the level of maturity of that person.
This is really, really important. And just to stress out the fact that there are ways you can cope with emotional distress while in a relationship, and healthy communication is one of them. Therapeutic interventions is another. And now, sir, still with these coping mechanisms in the relationship, what place does close friends and probably family have to do when it comes to coping with this emotional distress?
Yes, family and close friends have a lot to do when it comes to coping mechanism. You understand? I wrote a message that was yesterday and I sent it on my phone. I was talking about sharing. Was it yesterday, 2 days ago? Talking about sharing your problem with the third party. And I actually gave an example with myself. Like I said, in my previous relationship, I had issues with my partner. So when we encountered breakup, by the way, and I ended the relationship because it was no longer moving. So I had to end it, but I felt the pain. Now I was like, I'm strong. I can handle this. I'm not going to tell anybody. So I had my friends with me there. My friend, my bosom friend, I did not tell him anything. So I stood the first day, second day. Third day, the thing was eating me. It got to a point I was like, no. I can no longer deal with this thing. I got my phone. I called my friend. I said, Bo, God love, this is what is happening. So immediately he recognized that I'm actually in a serious emotional distress. He came along, took me out, went out, took a bottle of drink, then I could pour out myself. I get it. It's like you are holding a burden within you. You have not been able to pour out that burden. Immediately I pour out myself to him, I find myself a bit relief. So friends have a big part to play. Family have a big part to play. If you are going through emotional distress, sometimes you just need maybe that one person you can talk to who can help you. Once you pour out yourself to that one trusted friend, that one trusted family member, you can help to relieve the pain or the emotional distress that you are going through. So family and friends, don't joke with.
Now, with the scope here with us, let us look at relationship, not marriage. Let us look at relationship, and with the level of betrayal that is outside. Is it just any type of friend you can, confide such information or such technical or very critical message to? Because some people tend to betray you at the end of the day, and you probably were looking at them as your friends, and then you share something very critical with them, then they betray you. So who are the type of friends you should tend to confide in?
Okay, that's a very important question. I usually say this. Most time people take information that is meant for intimate friends, sometimes I call them confidants. They take those pieces of information and tell it to a casual friend. I get it.
Okay.
So you have to know your friends. If you look at me, I don't keep any type of person in my inner circle. I define my inner circle. And in my inner circle, I have very few people. So your inner circle must be few. I get it.
Yes, sir.
Now we have acquaintances, we have casual friends, we have close friends, we have intimate friends, which most time I call confident. I get it. Now an acquaintance is somebody you just meet, right? Hello, hi, how you doing? You just greet, and that's an acquaintance. I get it. Now a casual friend, somebody maybe you meet regularly, you just discuss one or two things, but you don't go deep in the discussion.
That's true.
Now a close friend, somebody that people have something in common that you do together. Close friendship and fellowship. I get it. So you can there is a level of information that you can give to that person. Now when it comes to confidence, that is somebody you can confide in, somebody you can pour out your heart to. Those people are not many, there are few. I always tell people, if I have a friend who has more than 5 intimate friends, that person should not be my intimate friend.
Of course.
I get me. Because information that is meant for intimate friend, most times people go and confide it to another person. I'll tell you this: if you tell me something which is confidential, I don't tell another person. What my previous lady, my ex-girl, told me, she's confident, right? I will not tell the current girl. It remains within me. No family member needs to know about it. So if you are sharing your information to somebody, know the type of person you are sharing that pieces of information to. I called my friend God Love to confide in because he is my bosom friend. I trust him to an extent. I get it. So I could pour out myself to him. But I cannot do that to somebody who is just a casual friend.
That's true.
So you have to define your friends and you know the type of information you tell those friends you have. Casual friends should be told casual information. Close friends should be told close friend information. Intimate friend can confide in intimate friend and tell the person whatever you want to. So we should be very clear about that.
Moving on to action. Yeah, moving on to action.
Okay. Yes, we are still with friends. Friends can be helpful, and the same friends can be the source of your trauma and mental health issue. And remember, we are still on how to stay young while growing old, thereby increasing your life expectancy and a relationship point of view. And when we look at it generally, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking a lot about emotional distress, mental health from relationship point of view. Are there ways that we can prevent, preventative measures that we can use to maintain healthy relationships, so much so that we can stay younger on this earth and enjoy the glory filled here on earth?
Yes. There are ways that we can actually prevent emotional distress and mental health issues. Like I said, most of the problems we have in relationship nowadays is as a result of lack of knowledge. You see, a good number of young people jump into relationship without having the appropriate knowledge in managing and handling a relationship. So even the Bible says that my people perish because they lack knowledge. You cannot actually thrive in an area when you lack the skills, you lack the knowledge on how to do things in that particular area. So the first thing I recommend is, if you're a young man, focus on acquiring the right knowledge, the appropriate knowledge that can help you to manage, handle, and thrive in a relationship. So if you don't have the right knowledge, it becomes difficult for you to handle certain things. It becomes difficult for you to even make the right choice of a partner. I will not want to go into the details because there's a lot when it comes to that. Do you know your purpose? Do you have a vision? Have you discovered your own self? Do you know your temperament? These are some of the things that you need to know, so that by the time you are going to a relationship, you have the appropriate knowledge on how to manage that relationship. One great man said that the success of a relationship, first of all, depends on the people who are in that relationship. So if the people who are in that relationship are ignorant, it becomes difficult for them to even manage that relationship and thrive in the relationship.
Very true.
But if they are knowledgeable about things pertaining to relationship, they will know how to manage their relationship. If they're in conflict, they will know how to manage conflicts in their relationship. So the first aspect is acquiring the right knowledge. Go for pre-marital counseling if you are thinking of getting married. Because to me, if you are not thinking of getting married, why should you jump into a relationship? Maybe you are getting into a relationship for pleasure. Date intentionally, don't date out of pleasure. I get me. I so much focus on intentional dating. That is the most important part of it. So another thing I would like to talk about is regular checkups in relationship. Regular relationship checkups or check-in, right? I get it.
Yes.
So sometimes, like I for one, in my relationship, after about 2 months, I evaluate my relationship.
Okay.
Like I say, all right, let's see what has been going right, what has not been going right. What can we make, or what can we do to make this better? I get me. That is regular relationship checkups.
Wow.
When you do that, sometimes there are things that your partner has been keeping without you knowing. But if you give your partner the opportunity, your partner will bring up some of those things. People discuss and look for better means to handle things like that.
Wow, sir, I do that one without even knowing. I do that one unconsciously. It's just a part of me that every now and then I'll call. Okay, it has been some time now. Maybe I observed this did not really go well. What do you think we can do to improve the situation? What should we leave behind? What are we embracing? And all those things. And yes, I can say to an extent we have been thriving to an extent, and we keep working on a daily basis. But it is something I have been doing without even recognizing that I am doing it.
Very important.
So
regular
really
relationship checkup is very important.
Very
I will
important.
always advise people to ensure that they do that. Then building a strong foundation. There are a lot of relationship breaks because of lack of strong foundation. Even the Bible says that when you build on the sand, when breeze hits, you will
fall down.
The house will actually fall down.
Mhm.
So when you build on a solid foundation, when you build on rock, right? When the storm comes, the house will still remain on its position. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
So when we talk about building on a solid foundation, there are a lot of things that we can take into consideration. First, are you compatible with the person? What do people do regularly to enhance a relationship? All those things are many things. There are many things that we can consider. Compatibility, your knowledge, spirituality, and other aspects. Those are solid foundation you can build a relationship on. So, not to take too much time, I think those three aspects are very important. If people can actually begin in those areas, they can actually circumvent certain unhealthy relationship practices that can stir up emotional distress and later leads to mental health issues.
All right. So now, sir, in summary or in conclusion, what are the takeaway points we can give to the people as they are listening to us right now? We are coming to the end of this podcast. Please do not forget to subscribe, to like, to comment, and to share. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section. You have any worry, anything you think we should address, do not forget to write us and leave us a message. We will always respond to you and probably book a session with you to discuss further. So we are coming to the end, and so I would like us to, what are the key things people should take from all what we have said today? Looking at the topic, we have emotional distress and mental health problems, the relationship point of view. What is a key message or a key thing people can take home from today's discussion?
All right, I would like to remind our viewers once again that we are so much interested in their health, and that is why we're talking about some of the impacts of relationship in our health. So if you want to stay young while going old, you have to also focus or pay more attention on the type of relationship you get yourself involved. So take away, I will begin by saying that you need to understand what emotional distress is and what mental health issues are. And I will say that a good number of us have mental health issues. In fact, all of us in one area or the other, we have mental health issues. Sometimes it results from childhood. I get it?
Yes.
From childhood. So if you realize that you are actually facing a situation whereby you are not functioning like you used to function, it's actually disrupting your daily activities. You find yourself being sad continuously, then there is a need for you to seek for help. Look for somebody who can help you. I know we don't have therapists maybe in Cameroon all around, but you can talk to an elderly person who can actually help you get out of that situation. Secondly, relationship is not something that you should jump into when you are not ready, because most of the issues we have today is as a result of failed relationship.
Yes.
If you have not acquired the right knowledge, if you are not thinking of marriage, I don't see the need for you to jump into a relationship. You should rather focus into another thing that will help your life in one way or the other. Keep building yourself. When the time comes, you get into a relationship. But then, if you are building yourself, don't focus just on building yourself and forgetting on acquiring knowledge about relationship, because the time will come when you will need that knowledge. You need that knowledge in order to manage your relationship. Next is when you find yourself in a situation where you cannot longer handle things, or let me say in your relationship, if that relationship is giving you a lot of distress, emotional distress, please don't hold on to that relationship. Break up. Look for means to heal. So those are my key points. So the knowledge is the first thing. Being aware that we have something like emotional distress and mental health issues. Trying to evaluate yourself. If you're actually undergoing such a situation at the moment, then look for the next step, which is to seek for help so you get yourself from that situation. If your relationship is facing conflict constantly, look for appropriate means that you can help to reduce the conflicts in your relationship. When you reduce the conflicts in your relationship, you will reduce emotional distress and you might not experience mental health issues. Thank you so much.
Yes, you might not experience mental health issue when you take out time to do your due diligence, search for the right information, search for the right people, and make sure that you do your best to avoid such conflicts in your relationship. Even if you cannot avoid them, do your best to manage them. Now, sir, the last question I have for you is, are there some resources that people can go to learn more about relationships and health? Probably a website or maybe a local therapist or some particular people online that are like influencers that these people can follow to learn more from them about a relationship. Are there some people?
Well, Mr. Clivet, there are many resources out there. You see, we have the internet. There are many areas people can learn. However, I would like to recommend this particular platform. Don't miss out on our programs, because as time goes on, there's a lot you are going to learn about relationship. So this should be your first source. If you want to learn more about relationship, mental health, right, you keep following us, because I'm talking about relationship because relationship is very connected to our mental health. It's connected to our health as a whole. So I think about mental health is just one part of health. Please don't misunderstand me. One part of health. So if you want to stay young while growing old, if you want to have a lot of knowledge when it comes to relationship and your health, then keep following us. There is a lot you're going to learn in due time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for this beautiful recommendation. Yes, keep following us. Share to your friends, share to your families, and let them join us so that you will not be the only person to learn. Others too can learn and we can grow together. Remember, we want you to stay young while growing old, thereby increasing your life expectancy. And now, my dear listeners and ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this particular session. And I would like to implore you, if you have questions, if you have any contributions, please drop them in the comment section, and we will do well to appreciate your contributions and respond to your questions very, very fast and swiftly. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, we will call it a day. I want to personally extend, on behalf of the NKA program, say a big thank you to Sir Vide Nelson for the elaborate and explicit understanding we have gotten from this today's topic, emotional distress and mental health problems, a relationship point of view. Thank you so much, sir, for your input and your contribution. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for always supporting us. We want to thank you for always staying with us. Watch out for another part of this particular podcast, which is still on relationships, how they affect our health, thereby decreasing our life expectancy. See you another time.